Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another review. And we continue our journey through Anthrax's discography. Of course, we talked about Fistful of Metal, the debut album. Now we go to the second album, which featured a lineup change. Shortly after the release of Fistful of Metal, Neil Turbin, the original lead singer, and Danny Linker, the original bassist, were ousted from the band, and brought in was Joy Belladonna and Frank Bello, who happens to be the nephew of the drummer Chele Benente. And Spreading the Disease is the first album to feature what is known as the classic lineup of Anthrax. And this, to me, I agree, is the definitive lineup of Anthrax, which is Joy Belladonna on the vocals, Frank Bello on the bass, Scott Ian, rhythm guitarist, Dan Spitz as your lead guitarist, and Chele Benente as the drummer. Together, these five crafted a pretty underrated gem, in my opinion, because Spreading the Disease is a pretty damn good album, and it's a solid album. We kick off with the first song, AIR. Not a bad song, a good way to start up. Good way to start off the album. It's not a song that I'm going to go back to and listen, but it does what it needs to do, like all opening tracks on our metal album, which is try to get you into it. So I got no complaints with that one. The second song, Lone Justice, which follows shortly after, is a pretty interesting song because the song you can by the lyricism, it paints a story of pretty much like a gunslinger you can picture from the old west with its lyrical content, and you can easily like paint this mental movie in your mind of this lone ranger type deal, which is pretty cool. That's another thing about this album that I like so much is that it's very good at crafting stories with its writing. It's a very you know what I'm looking for, uh, almost movie esque, so to speak, in a way, which is pretty interesting. Of course, then we get to track three, which is probably the most well known track off this record, which is Madhouse. And Madhouse, it's not my favorite song on this album, but Madhouse, does what it needs to do. It's one of those, perfect, sing along songs where the crowd can just chant, "It's a Madhouse." Then, jump into the mosh and start thrashing about. So, in terms of that, does what it needs to do. No, the next song we got is SSC Standard Fall, and this is one of my favorite songs off the album. I love this song. I just love that opening intro. And then, like Madhouse, it has one of those awesome, crowd participation things where you could just, if the band would play, you could just scream out and just say, "Stand or fall!" And and everything else that's in the song also is pretty damn good. Dan, Dan, Dan Spitz's guitar playing, is excellent. Joy Belladonna on the vocals, is just knocking it out of the park. The man's vocals is very reminiscent of Ronnie James Dio, where it's like operatic, over the top style in a way. But it suits this type of music, and it works. I love Joy Belladonna's vocals, especially on Standard Fall, because you get that power that he just boosts, and it just enhances it to a great deal. Then we got the preceding track, which is "The Enemy," which I think is a very underrated song because I actually like it. I like that whole intro. Boom, doo, 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 boom, 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 boom. So it's like "The Enemy" to me, very underrated track. I definitely suggest you check it out because it should get more respect. Then we get to the song "Aftershock," which is okay. It's not my personal favorite song. Tell you the truth, I think it's very forgettable because I don't even remember it. So you can skip that. "Armed or Dangerous" kind of has almost like a metal ballad in a way because it's very slowed down. It's not bad, but you have to hear it a few more times to appreciate it. I only heard it maybe once, so it's like I have to hear more to get to appreciate it because Anthrax is not really the type of band that does like these slow ballad-like songs. They're known for their like hardcore punk, heavy metal, new wave of British heavy metal sound, and and just their overall goofballness. And Stand Armed and Dangerous is kind of a little I gotta hear it more times to get a better view of it. But in my opinion, the last two tracks on this album are the best tracks on this album. Track number 9, Medusa. I fucking love this song. This song is kick ass. Like The Lone Ranger, its lyrical content is telling a story, and you get this visual image of just Medusa, the Gorgon, and the way Joey Belladonna's delivery of the lyrics and the ferocity that the band is playing with. You know, dun 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 bam bum 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 bum. And like just the music, the lyrics, the playing, the way the band is like coming together to put this song in, it just perfect song. And then we get to the closer, which I love, and I consider it to be probably like, and to me, Gung Ho is the perfect example of just non-stop speed metal thrash. Just that opening guitar riff, that, and then you get Charlie Band coming in, boom, 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 boom. You got Charlie Band playing the double bass, going as fast as he can. You got the rest of the band going as fast as they can. They're just coming together to put this speed metal ferocity coming at you. And Gung Ho, to me, the perfect thrash / headbanging song on this entire album. Joey Belladonna's vocals on Gung Ho is outstanding. The drumming is incredible. Scott Ian and Dan Spitz are killing it on the guitar, and Frank Bello is holding his own on the bass. So yeah, Gung Ho, perfect closer to this album. So, as a whole, and as an overall, and as a first showing for the classic lineup, I gotta give Spreading the Disease a solid 8 out of 10. It proves that the new lineup did not affect the band whatsoever. In fact, it greatly enhanced the band in a bunch of different ways, from a writing standpoint, a playing standpoint, and just an overall presentation. Because now we have Joey Belladonna, who is different than Neil Turbin, as Joey Belladonna brings in more like a power, more like vocal power presence to the band, which is fantastic, and it definitely is what made Anthrax stand out from the rest of the Big Four, and why, to me, Anthrax is the most underrated of the Big Four, and why I think Spreading the Disease deserves more respect than it gets. So if you love heavy metal music and you like Anthrax, I say give Spreading the Disease another chance, because it is an underrated gem. Well, that's all I got to say about that. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you again next time for what is possibly my all-time favorite Anthrax album.